We go.
Another time. Are we live?
We're
I
live.
think we're live.
We're live.
Oh, hey. All right. All right. Well, this is episode 1 of the Island of Relevancy live.
It's a great name. I love the name.
Hold on. I had to mute myself because I had the actual Facebook up and I was talking and I heard myself.
I've
All
done
right.
I've done that in the other one.
But we are live. Welcome to the Island of Relevancy podcast, aka the live stream. I am one of your hosts. I am T, and with me is Frank. Man, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
You know what? What I'm glad that I am doing today is I'm glad that I'm not a ball-headed fraud, and
You
you're
know,
not a ball-headed fraud either. But
I'm a
you're a ball-head
bald-headed, but I'm not a fraud.
man. CM Punk, man, he had a moment last night.
I think that was almost a better opening than the first Raw on Netflix. Almost. He came out
I
firing.
Man, like he came out firing, and Seth Rollins came out there, and we'll get into that. We're gonna rewind. So here we are, first episode, and I kind of want to introduce y'all to what we're gonna be doing on this podcast. It's a once a week thing. We're not gonna do a live stream for SmackDown. We're not gonna do a live stream for Raw or any of the PLEs. Maybe a PLE. If we have the time for that. But we kind of do a weekly recap here. So we're going to start with SmackDown, right? We'll start with SmackDown for last week. And I will say, I want to keep this brief because SmackDown really underwhelmed me. What did you think of SmackDown on Fridays?
Look, SmackDown lately has not. I think 3 hours is too long. I think Raw found the sweet spot at 2.5 hours. I think SmackDown is just it. They had a lot of build up. I thought the Andrade Jacob Fatu match was great.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through looking at the Elimination Chamber hype little thing was fun. That was fun when they all came out. And then Logan Paul came out to John Cena's music and got everybody excited because at that moment, everybody loved John Cena still.
Yeah.
Other than that, I feel like they're pushing Carmelo Hayes into more of a comedic role with The Miz. And I mean, I'm sure it's going to work for him, but he's better than that. He's so much better than that.
Man, Carmelo Hayes is kind of, I always say if he was about 4 inches taller, he would probably be a world champion right now. Like he at least be an intercontinental champion. He's I don't know what it is. I don't want to say it's it is the booking, but then again, that whole mid card scene on SmackDown is just booked terribly.
Yep.
Like it's Shinsuke. So this week I read that his brother passed away, so that's why he wasn't there. So of course you got to give him grace, and
Absolutely.
my condolences to your family, Shinsuke, to the Nakamura family. But before that, it's just been a bad push. Like he started off so great. He came out with the new gimmick, and then it just went nowhere.
Now, are they actually going to make him is he going to be gone long enough that he's going to have to vacate the title?
I don't think so.
I hope not.
I don't think. Man, anytime I see a tournament, I always think it's for the title. Like, so they did that little mini number one contenders thing. So I hope they don't do that because I did think of that, like that. He might be going for a while, but I don't think they'll not for that. That would be a terrible reason for someone to have to vacate the title.
I mean, unless he's by his culture and his customs or whatever, he's going to be gone for a really long time.
Yeah.
Then maybe, but if it's just a week or two or, maybe even a month, I wouldn't do it.
For sure.
Now, over in the chat real fast, Dom popped in and said, "Hi, Sully, thank you." And that's my friend Brett, who I've grown up with. I believe he's talking about Carmelo. They pushed him too hard, too fast, and they don't know what to do with him. I agree with that. I think that's put too much on him at first, making him the number one pick.
his first match was with Cody. Like
Yeah,
he gets drafted first pick. He has a great match with Cody. The Carmelo Andrade, those guys can't have a bad match. Like Andrade is gonna have a great match every time he goes out there. Carmelo is gonna have a great match, but there's no character there. Now, if they went back to the barbershop, I'm not saying that Carmelo needs Trick, but Trick and Carmelo in the barbershop was must see TV in NXT, man. Like that comedy, it was great. Like, cause he felt like he had a gimmick. He doesn't
yeah.
have, he's just Carmelo Hayes. He's just, a brash guy who comes out there and talks trash, gets punched in the face, and he's the heel that everybody loves to get beat up. I like to say he's the black Mr. Perfect. I don't know, like that's
Wow.
like
Okay.
that's my biggest because he's a great worker. He's a great seller. He gets in there. He does his thing, but man, he just can't win. And I felt the same thing about Mr. Perfect growing up. Great, one of the greatest workers you ever, smoothest guys you ever see in the ring, but
Hmm.
just could never. I mean, a lot of that is Terry Bollea's fault, but I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
mean, he just that comparison. I think of that all the time. It's like those guys are great workers, and I mean, Carmelo Hayes has a long way to go before he's Mr. Perfect, but still, he kind of like he reminds me a lot of him. Like
I
I see
I
a
just
lot of that.
I just hope it's not. I know when Road Dogg started writing SmackDown, people were like, "Oh no, here we go again." And and then AJ came out and was like, "Give the man a chance." Um,
Mm.
3 weeks in, it's not looking great right now.
Those
I know they're
promos are terrible. Like other than I mean, you have a promo. Actually, that promo got bad too with all of the Elimination Chamber guys. When Logan Paul came out there, it fell apart.
it did.
Like the music hit, and he should have kind of just got really brief and
Yeah,
just kind of stung people, but he took too long.
he did.
Like
And
and
what's
that's
his
bad
name was
writing.
well, that's what CM Punk was giving him crap for it,
Yeah.
which was awesome.
Yeah. It
Um,
just Road Dog. I don't know, man. Like,
the so SmackDown ended with The Rock with standing in front of an airplane with awful audio, standing next to
yes.
a plane engine. Couldn't have thought that out a little bit better, maybe move a little bit further away from the plane engine so we could hear you. Um, again, I didn't really look too deep into it because I thought it was just Dwayne coming back, being Dwayne, and he's just messing stuff up and it's not going to lead anywhere. And all right, Elimination Chamber, it's not going to be anything big. It's just going to be another little, okay, here he's going to come out and he's going to touch his face all inappropriately again. HR's in the back, like, all right, Dwayne, you got to stop touching Cody's face. It's getting weird. But
Like,
we moved to Elimination Chamber and just, wow.
yes. So I remember. I want to say about a month ago, we had a conversation about podcast.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about doing a show, and I told myself, I said, you know what? I'm gonna wait till after Mania, see if my schedule opens up. And I was like, we can, like, I want to start one, but I'm going to wait till after WrestleMania. When Dwayne Johnson said he was going to, was it SmackDown last week?
Yep.
I said, okay, something is happening. Something is going to happen. Let's jump on this. Like, and then that's when I messaged you, all right, let's do it after Elimination Chamber because something big is going to happen at the Chamber and it's going to lead to the road to WrestleMania will be paved at the Elimination Chamber. And I never in a million years expected what
I
happened to
I
happen.
had what I thought was gonna happen, and I'll tell you what I thought was gonna happen when we get to the last match. Well, there's
Yeah.
really not that much to cover. The first match was horrible. I'm sorry. The Trish Stratus match was horrible.
Oh, you missed the chamber match. The women's chamber match. Jade coming in there
Did I miss that
and
first? I looked at the wrong I'm looking at the wrong thing for so the what I'm looking at doesn't have it in order. I apologize.
oh
The women's chamber match stole the night.
oh yeah.
Stole the night. I'm so happy to see the women elevated the way they were in that match. Jade coming down and Bianca's reaction to Jade, seeing the Instagram videos of the shot behind Bianca makes it so much more powerful. What an amazing actress.
Man, Jade, like I have to give credit to Jade because I've seen some beatdowns where people go in there and they're supposed to quote unquote beat people down and it just looks so staged. But
Yep.
Jade really looked like she beat the hell out of her in
She,
there. Like she
she slammed the door on her. That big ass steel door.
yes.
It,
That was a moment.
Liv Morgan, yeah, Matt. Liv Morgan took an ass whooping. There were some really awesome spots in that match. Um,
Mhm.
Liv using Bianca's braid, throwing her in a cage, pulling her back, throwing her in a cage,
Yes.
pulling her back. That was hilarious. But that slap, that braid slap on top of the box, like
Mhm.
I still hear that crack.
So I what I love about Bianca is she only uses that in the right spots because she like in NXT she used to use the braid all the time. But like recent when she got called up, she only uses it at big moments. She only uses it against like the big opponents. She used it against
Yep.
Sasha. She used it against Charlotte, I think it was in one of her matches. But like she only and that was a spot. That boy, that crack. It sounded like a daggone aluminum bat or something, man. Like one of the college baseball home runs. It was terrible.
It sounded like they hired the effects person from Indiana Jones movies.
Yes, yes. Before we move, hey, thank you so much, Dell on Movies, for popping in. We definitely appreciate the support. And yeah, Matthew Kaplan said the crack heard around the world from that man. That it was loud.
It was.
It
It was
it
loud.
was loud.
All the women did great. Um, I thought it was a great match. Bianca winning was fine. Um,
Mhm.
I loved I loved all the interplay with all the different women. I thought that match started the night off at such a high note that it would be hard to follow.
Yes.
And then we got to the second match, and it just took the air out of the building.
And I was hoping that they didn't. So it's hard to follow that up with Sammy and KO because I thought about this. Like you can't follow it up with the men's. You can't follow it with Sammy and KO. So you have to follow it up with Tiffy and Trish, and that
Yep.
was just it was an okay match. It was a SmackDown match. You could have had that match on SmackDown and it would have just been okay.
Basically,
Yeah. Yeah. So
um,
I mean, it happened.
yeah, the crowd was dead for it.
Yeah.
The I don't even have anything to say about it. It just was
Yeah.
not
I
a
mean,
fun match.
I feel like Trish deserved a little bit better than that because Candace is not. So Naya's a great heel. Like I love Nia as a heel. She's phenomenal as a heel, but Candace is just there. Like Candace,
Yeah.
and I thought Candace was going to take the pin. I kept saying that. Like Candace is definitely taking this pin, and Nia taking the pin was a surprise. I knew Trish wasn't going to lose in Toronto. It was an impossibility that they would have Trish lose in Toronto,
No
and
way.
Tiffany's the champ. You know.
So
Um,
the Candace, so when WrestleMania was in Philly, I went to Sam Roberts does his not
yeah.
Sam wrestling thing. He does it at the comedy clubs. And Candace and Johnny Gargano were there. And they were just
Mhm.
like normal. They weren't playing up the wrestling things. Coolest person in the world. So sweet and nice. Stopped after the show, shook hands, talked. Sweetest person. It was those two. It was Megan Morant, Mark Henry, who's one of the filthiest human beings in the world in a good way. His jokes are absolutely just filthy and hilarious. And then our truth came out and talked for like 45 minutes. Just so genuinely nice.
Yeah.
But it's hard to hate Candace because of seeing her and then kind of meeting her and not like we didn't hang out and talk or anything, but
Yeah.
it's harder to dislike her even though she really serves no purpose in that story.
Yeah. So here's what I don't want to do is I really don't want to discredit any of these fine professionals. Candace, in the way, I love the way. One of the I when they broke up the way, they
Yeah,
let go Indy Hartwell. I think they did everyone in that faction a disservice. Johnny, of course, he's bounced back, but nobody else has bounced back since they broke up the way. So Candace is a great wrestler. But once again, just like Carmelo Hayes, she's in this spot where she doesn't belong with Nia. I think that's a terrible I think that's a
yeah.
terrible pairing.
They're very,
Um,
very mismatched.
yeah, like I don't think she needs to. She doesn't need the Nia rub, nor does she really lend anything to the story other than being a small person next to a really big person. They always look awkward together.
It's
Kind of
weird.
like
Well, it's weird. They don't work, but yet Piper and Chelsea Green are fabulous together. They're fabulous together.
you give Chelsea Green anything. I think Chelsea Green makes anything work. She can make anything work. And Piper's great. Like Piper doesn't get enough credit. She's a fantastic wrestler.
Yep.
I love Piper Niven.
Yep.
But Chelsea Green can make any. I think Chelsea Green can make Candice LeRae work with her if those two were together. Because she made Sonya Deville like when they were attacked. When she was a tag team with Sonya Deville before she got injured, she got her over. Like they were an over team because just Chelsea's an MVP. Like if when Naomi got hurt, I was praying that they replaced her with Chelsea Green because
Yeah.
she would have she would have got the biggest pop, and then whoever pinned her would have got just booed out of the building, and it would have been Liv, and she would have got booed out of the building, and that would have once again brought more heat to her. But Chelsea Green, she is the female MVP to me. Like she knocks everything out of the park. She's
100%.
fantastic.
100%.
She doesn't have good competition for her belt. Like she did like Michin, B-Fab, you know.
No.
Zelina, I think is when they establish her on SmackDown, I think that'll be a good pairing, but Zelina's gonna lose. Like she's the great baby face who always loses.
Yep. Nope. Totally agree. So the KO Sammy match, I really thought that would end in a no contest. Like they would both just beat each other into submission and they would both just be done. Like no winner, just both of them passed out from all the trauma. Because
Yeah.
those two put on a hell of a match. KO has no concern for his body in any way, shape, or form whatsoever, and neither does Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I thought the match was I thought they had some really cool spots.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed their match. I felt they told a good story.
So Sammy and KO, they have fought so much. They've fought on every level. They've had main event NXT matches. They've fought at WrestleMania. They've had these matches, but every single time, I don't know how they get me to care. Because it's like, how do you continue to get me to care? Because this is not Rock Austin, right? Rock Austin, they fought a billion times.
Yep.
But every single match always meant something. It was always a title at stake. Like it was always for the marble, like for all the marbles, WrestleMania, main event WrestleManias, they could fight 500 times and you'll watch it 500 times because it's Rock and Austin. KO and Sammy have the exact same, they get me to care when I shouldn't care. There's no stakes here, right? There's no stakes, but they always will get you to care. And then they just go out there and just have a banger, right? That match was amazing. And people keep saying that the barbed wire wasn't gimmicked. If that's the case, that Blue Thunder bomb on that chair, man, that was gnarly.
I was wondering if that was legit barbed wire or not. And God.
They're saying it wasn't. I mean, they're saying it was legit barbed wire. So, man, bless them.
And so KO wins, and he's about to pile drive him on the mat outside, and Randy Orton's music hits, which I really wasn't expecting. I don't really think I expected a lot out of this. But like I said, I'll tell you how I had the men's chamber going down in a minute. KO was crying when Orton's music hit. Like he legit had tears in his eyes. And he just puts so much emotion into the whole thing. Everything he does. And I love that about him. I'm so glad he re-signed.
What I loved about that scene was KO was outside the ring. And like you said, he was crying, but he rolled in the ring and was like, I'm going to fight you. And man, KO, once again, I said Chelsea is the female MVP. KO, Drew McIntyre are, to me, the male MVPs of
Yep.
both brands. Like those two guys have just done everything they can to put everybody over. They've gotten everybody over. And when he got in that ring, I said, that's a small detail.
Yep.
Like instead of running up the ramp, no, I'm gonna get in the ring for all of these, 40,000 people however many people were inside the arena. Everybody's gonna see this ass whoop I'm gonna give him. He had nothing. Like I knew like it was
No
just
way.
like, man, like why would you not run away? No, I'm not that type of heel. I'm ready to end you. I want to end you. I want to end Sami Zayn. And it's just a little nuances that KO, he just gets it. He is so great in the ring, outside of the ring. His promo work, the fact that he learned English, learning wrestling promos, like because he spoke French Canadian and he
Yep.
learned English before he, went on the Indies or whatever. And it's like that's just insane. And he's one of the best. He's top 5 promo guys in the
Absolutely.
business. Like he
100%. And he
for
doesn't
sure.
and he doesn't have to be in the ring to do it. Those little things he does in his car, the little like I love what they've been able to do with social media now
Mhm.
that they don't have those chains around their wrists anymore where they're restricted from what they're able to do. I love that they're embracing social media the way they are. As much as I hate social media, I'm glad that they're embracing it and giving us another look at things and another view and that back to when KO beat Cody up outside of the trailer and it was captured by a fan.
Yes.
Okay?
Cap
That stuff is great and it adds to the story. And that's why they're doing so well right now.
For sure. And Matthew Kaplan, you're right. That is Triple H and Shawn.
Yep.
Like those two, KO and Sammy, that's a closer comparison than Rock and Austin because they're brothers.
Yep.
Like in by SummerSlam, they're gonna hug it out again and they're gonna team up, they're gonna go on the tag team run.
And then they're gonna
And
come right back around. It's just a cycle, but
yep.
as long as you twist it up a little bit, as long as you do a little bit different here, a little bit different there.
Yep, yeah.
Um,
I'm here for it.
the men's match. So what I said was gonna happen in the men's match was I posted it in our chat. I said that it was gonna come down to Cena and Rollins or Cena and Punk, and Cena was gonna win, and Punk was gonna call his favor in to get put in a match with Cena, Cena, Punk, and Cody, and that's how I thought all the way through the match. I couldn't have been more wrong at at what I predicted. I couldn't have been more wrong.
I mean, you did call every single elimination.
I did.
You called the whole match pretty much from top to bottom. Yeah,
I did.
that was impressive.
That was luck because I have never done that before. I tried to call all the WrestleMania matches and I was totally wrong.
Yeah, no.
Now, not just the match was great overall, but but then again, seeing the extra footage after the match, the thing with Punk and the light, Punk laughing, not
Seth?
Punk, Seth laughing at Punk beating up Drew. Hilarious stuff. I love seeing that stuff.
Mhm.
But the end of the match, I mean, I didn't even pick up on the fact that how quickly Cena took advantage of that curb stomp.
He was on him. He pulled him in there. STF. It was like, man, he didn't think twice.
Yeah.
And I didn't. Of course, I don't think anybody picked up on that. It was just like, all right, I want to go to WrestleMania. Like that. That was the whole thing. It was like that whole speech that he gave at the end of what was the last PLA? Was that
It was the Rumble.
the Rumble. The
Yeah,
Rumble. He gives
Rumble.
that.
Yep.
He gave that great speech. I'm putting myself in the elimination chamber. I'm going to WrestleMania. So that's what I saw there. It was like a person who wants to go to WrestleMania. He has to cement himself. He has to break the record. And man, the lasting image of that whole chamber is Seth's face after he stomped him. He just had this look of like, I hate you. Like that was one of the greatest shots of him looking through the cage and seeing Punk getting choked out
Yep.
and put to sleep. Such a great moment,
And
man.
then as CM Punk was being pulled out, he was looking back at Cena, like, pissed.
Yeah, yeah, of course, because that was his main event spot. Like,
Not just that, but he knew he didn't know that that's
yeah,
not Cena. Cena doesn't do that. Cena's not gonna take advantage of someone like that. He's gonna give you the respect to come back and get in a little bit, and let's fight like normal. Let's fight like, hustle,
let's fight
loyalty,
like
respect.
men. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hustle, Lord. Yes, exactly. Oh man.
And then we get The Rock coming out with Travis Scott, which I thought was just, why is he here? This is all dumb, right? And then Dwayne Dwayne does that big HR violation again. Rubbing Cody's cheek. Like, it's creepy and weird, man. But I guess when you make $80 million that year, you could cup whoever's cheek you want in the middle of the
that
ring.
you know what? That is a that is a person of power thing right
Yeah.
there. Because I've dealt with so many people when I was in the military. There was so many, like, you would meet these lieutenant colonels, generals. They always did this thing where they would always touch you, and it was inappropriate, like either the shoulder where they like correct, like, and that's a person of power thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from. I don't know who. I don't know if this gets passed down from generation to generation of people. But it's like this very inner, like this light touching of either shoulder to face, and it's like, why are you touching my face? That's what I thought of when everybody kept saying these HR violations. I said, he's in charge, so he feels like he can just do whatever he wants to you as a person. He could
Yep.
touch you however he wants, and hilarious, man.
I just
That's so
so
funny.
I assumed that it was just him sticking his nose in and messing stuff up because he can and he's got some free time. And I really didn't think anything was going to come of it. And no one in the world picked up on what that meant.
Nope.
No one got the three fingers. I didn't ever it didn't ever cross my mind. Not that I'm, great at this, but I do a lot of reading and deep diving on the internet and stuff for wrestling when I'm working. Um I I can't tell you how blown away I was. The only thing that would have made this better is if the camera didn't show Cena's face. Because as the camera comes around to
Yeah.
Cena's face, you're like, "No. Just show The Rock doing this." But
Yep.
again, it's a minor hiccup of a complaint.
I just thought Cena looked so goofy when he was jumping around. I was like, why is he jump? Like, he's doing too much. Like, he was doing
That's
too much, and but it's still, I didn't think he was going to turn. Like, I still didn't never. I thought he was going to hit the Rock. I thought he was going to a the Rock. I was like, he's just jumping around, just being goofy, and I was like, why is he so extra?
'cause
Because you,
a year ago, right here in my hometown, in the middle of the ring, he told Cena to get the F out of his ring and rock bottomed him,
mhm,
right? So,
yep,
and, you know, now Cody dropping the F bomb that they totally, totally, totally didn't bleep, but yet all night they were bleeping the holy shit chants.
the F bomb was great. That made it real. Like, if
Yep,
that makes it, like, that made it like, okay,
yep,
that's exactly what you would tell somebody. Because the Rock, I knew Cody wasn't turning because he kept talking about taking his soul, and he kept talking about the dream,
right,
and like, I knew, because part of me initially thought that Cody would turn, because that makes sense. One of them has to be the bad guy.
right.
Once again, at no point in time did I think it was going to be Cena.
Well,
Like, I just
that's why I assumed it was gonna be Punk end up being the bad guy because he would call in the favor, because you can't have two good guys facing off in a main event, which, by the way, Triple H has said all the main events the main events are still up for grabs. He hasn't defined this is a main event or that is a main event, but we talk about that down the line.
yeah,
And
that
yeah,
just
we do.
all that means to me is that the women aren't main event in night one. That's what that's all that means to
I
me.
maybe not. We do. We need Homelander Cody to show up, but I don't think you're gonna get that for quite a while. I think it's gonna happen,
Yeah,
but it's gonna happen down the road. But Cena turning and just I, what a punt.
Yes. So the kick to the ball, I think WWE has done the kick to the nuts way too much for these heel turns. It started with Shinsuke when Shinsuke, got AJ, and it was like you've done that too much. But it was the beat down afterwards. Because at first it was like I thought he was going to kick him nuts and leave, but
Yeah,
no, he doubled down and he stood there and he had the peacemaker face on, like he just had that stone cold face, and it was great. Like that was it was like, all right, yeah, I'm not gonna let you debate whether I turned. I'm gonna let you know I really turned. Like this is real. This is not. This ain't me and Bray. This ain't no act. This is. I'm gonna beat the hell out of him with the watch.
with the
With
watch,
his daddy's watch. You know?
eh, with his daddy's watch, with the date of his daddy, with his dad passing, and the blood on the thing. Like he just is just. I, look, man, I thought it was BS that he came back this last time. I'm really happy at the way that turned out. Now apparently Cody has a busted eardrum and a black eye because Travis Scott does not know how to do a wrestling slap yet.
Yeah, doesn't know how to throw a working punch. No,
Not yet.
like
He's
I didn't
training.
see that. I didn't see that. Like I've because I haven't gone back. I mean, WWE showed it like 500 times, but like I don't remember the part where he hits him. Or
Yeah,
maybe I'm just blocking that out of my mind because
he was
every time that
already
I saw Travis Scott,
he was already laying down, and I guess at one point Travis came over and he just whacked him while his head was on the ground, and he just came down.
oh,
So apparently, The Rock said to him on the way out, "If you get a chance, don't hold back. Really wail on him."
yeah, wrestlers tell this they tell the guys to do that because it's like they don't want to look fake because
No,
they're a guy who don't know how to throw a working punch. He's gonna make it look super fake. He's gonna do
yeah,
it like I me throwing a fake punch. So yeah, I get it. I
and
get it.
this comment I agree with 100% too. Danny is the only negative to the moment was the gap between the go F yourself and the hug with Cena. It really did seem like it was an unusually long pause. Like they didn't know what to do, or like, wait, am I supposed to do this? Are you supposed to do that? Let me turn. It did seem like it was a little bit too long in that moment.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so apparently Cody has a busted eardrum and a black eye. um,
Battle scars, man. Hey, you're the champ, man.
hey,
You gotta be able to take it.
Travis Scott is training and learning wrestling moves. Could we get a Bad Bunny versus Travis Scott down the line?
I was thinking, I mean, Bad Bunny. So Bad Bunny set the bar too high, right? We might get a Lawrence Taylor in there, like a Lawrence Taylor wrestling match. Bad Bunny, that match between him and Damian Priest was phenomenal. Like this guy,
Better than
he
it should
gets
have
it.
been. Yep.
Way better than it should have been. Way like at no part. I mean, get in there, get a few punches in, get your behind beat, hit them with a small package, and you win. And you go off in the sunset. No, these guys had a hardcore match. So I don't know if Travis Scott has that type of athleticism in him, but I mean, we'll see. I don't want to see him in the ring. Like I'll be totally honest. I didn't want to see Bad Bunny in the ring either. So I didn't want to
Look,
see Logan Paul in the ring.
I,
You know?
again, another guy that you didn't expect to actually be good, and he saves Rey Mysterio's life in one match. And
Mm.
where were you when Kurt Angle did his? Where were you when Brock Lesnar did his backwards awful somersault or moon whatever? Um, so I thought the whole thing came together really great, and then
Oh yeah.
in the press conference after, where he just walks up, sits down, takes the microphone, looks at it, drops it, and leaves. I thought that was great. And then Dwayne comes out and over explains everything.
Yes.
Like,
He was so happy of that moment. Like he's like a proud dad. Like he was just like you could just tell he was so happy on how that came out. And it was just like,
yeah,
why are you doing this?
right.
Like, why?
But he over explained. You don't need to.
Yes.
Cena had that moment. Let that moment cook. Shut up. Stop. Sometimes too much, Dwayne.
Yes.
I'll call him
He
his government name all day long. Too much, Dwayne.
Yes,
But
it was. It
now,
was.
now, from stuff that I've been reading, he is not physically going to be wrestling at WrestleMania 41, but he will be there and involved in
Of
things.
course. Yeah.
He hasn't
Yeah.
had time to get himself into ring shape. He's too busy counting his millions on his plane. I'm jealous. I am. I'm extremely jealous.
So there's only one thing I want for this year's WrestleMania. Dwayne's gonna get involved. The glass has to shatter, guys. Like I don't care what you got to do. Move
So,
heaven and earth. Make it happen.
like, I know I think in one of the chats I'm in with Danny, he said something about Austin just had double knee surgery or knee
Oh
replacement
no.
or something like
Oh
that.
man,
I
that's too
I
bad.
didn't look, but the reason he didn't come to Philadelphia, which is what they set that moment up, the Undertaker's moment was supposed to be
Yeah, of course.
Stone Cold. He didn't wanna fly. He don't like to travel anymore, even though he does a show about traveling, but that's neither here nor there.
He lives it.
He lives in Nevada.
Yeah, he lives out there. Yeah,
But I
come
mean,
on,
he didn't wanna come to Philly because he didn't wanna travel cross country.
for
Okay,
sure.
you're right there, bro. You're right there. Like, get on your four-wheeler, drive to Vegas.
Yes, exactly. Get on your
Drive
four
right up,
wheeler,
right in.
drive right in.
I'm in for it.
You
Um,
know, one stunner that's out. If that glass shatters at WrestleMania, that place, the
yeah,
roof blows off Allegiant Stadium. Like it'll be deafening if
yeah,
the glass
Danny
shatters.
Danny just said he had it in January. There's no shot at him getting in the ring. I mean,
That's
even if we get the glass shatter and he comes down to the ring, I think that's enough of a distraction.
yeah, yeah. Or one working punch. He don't have to take no bumps. You just like he don't even have to hit him with a stunner. He can just grab him by the shoulder, turn around, hit him one time, whatever.
That's all.
I just need the glass shatter, man. Like I just
Look, man, I was totally expecting that when we were at Philly.
oh yeah.
Where our seats was, I was sitting with Matt in the chat, me, Matt, and our friend Jay. We were up, I think we were row 39, so we were right underneath the club boxes, center ring,
Mhm.
and up to our right in one of the club boxes was the Undertaker because he was like leaning out and waving the fans and stuff. So when he popped up in the ring, I have to post that video to you guys and show you. I mean, that last 15 minutes was like Avengers Endgame level of awesome.
For sure. For
Um,
sure.
do you wanna do the Raw stuff or do you wanna do the turn stuff?
Let's go with the turn stuff, and then we'll
Okay.
get into Raw. We'll get into Raw.
I had to not buy like 4 or 5 Lego sets to get the tickets to WrestleMania. That was a $1,000 ticket that I still owe Matt interest on. Um,
Man.
um, all right. So in honor of there being a monster heel turn, um, we being me, I looked up that I did a couple different places, the 10 biggest heel turns in wrestling history. I didn't just stick to WWE. I'm gonna do the first one I did through ChatGPT because I love me some AI lists. Right?
Okay.
At number 10, again, this is ChatGPT. I have another one from another website. Um, Ric Flair turns on Sting in 1995.
Mm,
That's number 10.
mm, okay.
If Frank loves his list, Dom. Number 9, they have CM Punk's pipe bomb promo and heel turn in 2012.
Ah,
And now,
I mean, he was fringe to me.
right.
But
Um,
that was a turn on Rock when he hit. Yeah, no, no.
Now, number 8, ChatGPT has Triple H betraying DX in 1999. It's a good turn.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Number 7, they have The Rock joins the corporation at Survivor Series in 1998. That's a
Oh, that
good
was a
turn.
great one. That
A
was a
great
that was
turn.
a great one.
Number 6, they have Bret Hart's anti-USA heel turn in 97.
That's not a good
This
that
list
wasn't
is
a good
not
one.
the best.
Yeah,
They
that
have
wasn't a good turn.
they have the Andre turning on Hulk Hogan in 87 at 5. That's low.
I I mean,
That's
for the time,
for the
at the
time.
time, that was a huge that was like a seismic shift.
It was. Number 4, they have Seth Rollins betraying the Shield in 2014.
Okay,
That's a
I can
good
see
one.
that.
Number 3, Shawn Michaels super kicking Marty Jannetty in the barbershop in '92. That was a great heel turn.
We all saw it coming, but still, when it came, it was great. Like that was a great moment.
Like, I'm not even repeating that for the chat. Number no, number 2, Stone Cold sells out to Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 17. 17 in 2001.
That's not a great turn. Like
No.
the whole Stone Cold heel thing just didn't work. I mean, I guess, but that wasn't. I don't think that hit the way they thought it was going to hit.
This Chat GPT list doesn't even have the John Cena one. Their number 1 is Hogan joining the NWO. I'm gonna
That,
tell you right now, to me, that is still the most number 1 heel turn of all time because you didn't see that coming at all.
at all. I
Eh,
watched that, and I know I didn't pay for it, but
nope.
I watched that Bash at the Beach, and the leg drop. It was like, of course, and Bobby Heenan sold it. Like everybody sold it so great. Like, whose side is he on? Who's it? Like,
And it was so like watching the behind the scenes documentary about it, it was so they didn't know. They were
yeah,
ready to have Sting do it, and then, you know, so the other list I have, I'll run through this one real fast because it's basically the same thing,
mhm.
but different. This one's from GiveMeSport.com. So they have number 10, The Rock becomes the corporate champion.
That's high.
Yeah.
It should be lower.
9, Owen Hart turns on Bret Hart. Back
That
in
was a great
94.
turn.
Yeah, it
That was a great turn.
No, that list was ass. I agree, Ange.
Yeah.
Number 8, they have Roman Reigns turns to Paul Heyman in 2020. The start of the Tribal Chief. I don't really
That was
see that as a
yeah.
turn.
Yeah. That was a great moment, but that wasn't
Absolutely.
like great moment, but not a great turn. No.
Number 7, Stone Cold aligns with Vince McMahon.
That's about right. 7,
2000,
8.
yeah.
Yeah. That's about right.
Number 6, we got the Shawn Michaels betrays Marty Jannetty.
Okay.
And then Marty went on to do nothing, and Shawn went on to be awesome.
Marty went to be a creep.
A little bit. Number 5, they have Andre turning on Hogan on Piper's Pit in 1987. I think I was 46 years old in 1987. Number 4, Seth Rollins dismantling the Shield in 2014. Number 3, the Montreal Screwjob. Really not a heel turn, though.
No.
That was a moment, right?
I mean, who turned heel? Vince? Like who?
That's just it. Like,
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was already bad. I'm not talking. Oh yeah, I am talking bad about Marty. Number 2, John Cena sells his soul. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
At this point now, that's the second biggest turn next to the Hogan turn, which is still number 1.
Yeah. Hogan's turn changed wrestling. Like
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, for as much as I hate him, Hulk Hogan he defined wrestling for not only one generation, probably every generation past 1982 or something like that. Like
I,
Hulk Hogan, you can't deny what he did for the business.
no,
You
I've
can't.
looked. Mike, I've looked at a couple different Mike Shock that Macho Man turned on Hogan with when the Mega Powers explode.
Great moment.
That was a great turn too. They built that. They slow
Yes.
burned that. That was back when Vince was in all control of his faculties and actually knew what he was doing, and people enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's other lists with a bunch of other stuff.
I would put that over Michaels and Jannetty. I mean, like honestly, that's
Maybe I definitely would put it in my top 5. I would put the NWO first, this second, and Andre, that one, and
the Cena.
yeah. No, Cena's second right now.
Yeah.
Just because it's so fresh. I mean, look, I can't wait to see what the next turn's gonna be. Like, what's Punk's favor gonna be now? Is Punk gonna insert himself into that? So is it gonna be it's gonna be Seth and Punk at
Yes. At
WrestleMania.
MSG.
At
Eh,
MSG,
I'm
does Roman come back? I know he's scheduled to come back on the 21st in Italy, but does Roman come back that night to insert himself into that match?
yes.
Because he is it's MSG.
It's MSG. That's exactly why.
On Mike Andre on Piper's Pit is number 3 to me. But does he come back? It's MSG, it's the Mecca. Does he come back and insert himself into that match in some way to get revenge on Seth Rollins and cost Rollins that match?
Yes.
I love it.
I wholeheartedly think that's the only. I mean, I love a good triple threat match. I don't understand why everybody despises main events, title matches to be triple threat matches. I love a good triple threat match. I love a good fatal four way. But I
I
think like because who else does Roman fight at WrestleMania if he's not in this triple threat? Like who else
they
does he have a
haven't
match with?
they haven't built him to fight anyone else. I mean, it's
Exactly.
you got the storyline with Seth Rollins goes back years. It goes back to that Shield betrayal. It goes back to WrestleMania last year. It goes back to it just there's so much between them. It makes sense.
Or
Or
CM Punk beats Rollins because Roman interferes,
Mhm.
and he says for the 15th time he's moving past Seth Rollins, and he used that calls in that favor to get himself inserted in the match, and who else can get him inserted in the main event match but Paul Heyman?
But which
So it is possible. It's possible
does he get him inserted into that match, or does he get him
to the,
inserted into the
the
Jey
main event.
Uso Gunther match?
Oh no, don't do that.
No.
Please don't.
Let the
Yeah,
2 of
don't do
them
that.
let the 2 of them fight and let Jey Uso win, please.
Jay, yeah, don't. Oh man, that would be because that's not going to be the main event either. That's not going to be the main
No,
event
that's
of night one.
I think that's gonna be the first match of night
Opening
1.
match, yeah, that's going to be the opening match of either night one or night two. It's not
Now
going to be the main event.
now Danny's going. Danny's going out there to Vegas for WrestleMania.
Oh, is he? Oh man, it's too.
I'll
I
tell you that
wanted to
story
go.
later. I'll
Uh,
tell you that
I,
story another time.
okay,
It's a
let's
good
do it.
story how he's getting out there. Becky and Seth versus Punk and AJ Lee is not something I wanna see. I don't wanna see a
No,
mixed match at WrestleMania.
I'm going to be totally honest. I don't ever want to see AJ Lee in the ring again. I don't think anybody wants to see AJ Lee. People want to see AJ Lee. Like I would love, like AJ Lee is AJ Lee,
Yeah.
but we're holding we're holding on to too much. Like watching Trish in the ring, and Trish is a freak athlete. Like Trish Stratus is a freak athlete. She's a fitness phenomenon. At 50, she can still go with the best of them. Everybody's not Trish Stratus. That's like saying, people can play into their mid 40s like LeBron. Everybody can't do that. AJ, like we're gonna see because Nikki Bella's gonna show back up somewhere and try to get into a match, and she's gonna look like a mid 30s, early 40s Nikki Bella, and it's not gonna be the same as. And she improved. Don't get me like AJ Lee and Nikki Bella. You could say what you want. AJ Lee was not that great of a worker. Like she
I
just was in there at a time where there were no other good female wrestlers.
I don't remember it that well. I wasn't a hardcore watcher back then. I will say this about freak athletes in your 40s. I'm 53 and I'm still playing deck hockey. I am somewhat of a freak athlete myself.
I believe you. I believe you. You are not a ball headed fraud. You are a
I'm not.
freak athlete.
I'm not. I shuffle really well when I play hockey.
But
Um,
yeah, I don't want to see that.
I don't either. I don't want to see that.
People might want to see it though. Like, I mean, they
Oh,
want to see
sure.
Becky back. They
She
they
got
want to see
man,
AJ Lee.
Becky's going to come back eventually. I just don't think
Yeah,
I just don't think it's going to be before WrestleMania.
yeah.
I
Because
think
because have you seen the tweet? Have you seen the tweets
well, I did see
that
the come
Becky?
about the go you need to get your man tweet.
Yeah, and she tweeted that like CM Punk and Roxanne, like that became a thing today, and Cora
Oh.
J got involved. Like it's
Oh, no, I didn't see that because I know Becky is, um, she's gonna be filming a Star Trek show soon, which I'm really excited. I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
oh
Or
nice.
she's gonna be on, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, it's called, and she's got a, like, a
Oh
major role in it, and she's still doing book stuff, so, you know, I
oh yeah.
did turn heel on aging athletically. I did. I did.
Becky, do your thing, man, and
Eh,
enjoy motherhood, enjoy the show. Don't come back to fight AJ Lee. I don't think that's
no. No, I don't need it. Do you
it's a
wanna
good comment right there.
you wanna talk about the free agent thing before we do the Raw thing?
Yes, so big free agent news. We got Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix is Penta's brother. He is finally a free, at least according to the reports, according to the dirt sheets, as they say. He's finally a free agent. AEW, Tony Khan finally let him go. They said, don't say anything once we let you go. He had to sign an NDA once he got released. At least, once again, that's what the reports are saying. So Penta, he's working well as a singles guy. The Lucha Bros, huge tag team, like phenomenal tag team. Um, are they gonna mess up? Because Penta's merch is selling pretty good.
Yeah. Did
I
he have to
hate to
sign a
say,
did he have to sign an NDA not to talk about the low crowds in the
uh,
empty
uh,
arena?
don't. So we're not gonna come. I'm not gonna come here and slander AEW.
I'm not
When
slandering it.
they came to El Paso, they came here, what is it, about a year and a half ago? It was sold out. I mean, the venue only held 1,200 people, but it was sold out. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. I was on a hard cam side too, by the way. I was on,
Ooh.
so I was there. I was there. It was Ray Phoenix is I mean now because Penta's a little older. Like I would agree that Ray Phoenix is the better wrestler. He's younger. He has a insane move set. Both of them have an insane move set, but
So, he's a free agent. He's not allowed to talk about AEW, but can he sign anywhere yet, or is he just not allowed to sign anywhere for, like, X amount of days?
so that's only a WWE thing. So once you're a
Oh,
free agent from AEW, you can sign. That's like Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks was a free agent and he showed up on NXT the next night. Like,
okay. Okay.
so yeah, they can. He could show up on Monday night. He could show up on
Sweet.
Friday. Who knows?
Sweet.
So I mean, they might put him in NXT. He's younger. He's a younger guy, but he can go. Him and Axiom will probably put on some amazing matches.
Let's start watching NXT. Um, so we're down to Raw. We got Raw. And Raw open on fire.
Yes.
CM Punk came down and just cooked.
I thought he was going to go on longer. I thought like if Seth's music didn't hit, I thought he could have went easily another 10 minutes of just going down the line of people on the roster. He'd
I
have got
thought
to
he was,
R-Truth or something and like he just kept going.
you know that fraud was not the word he wanted to use in that sentence.
No.
You know
No.
that wasn't the word he wanted to use. More than once. I
Because at
love
first I had to listen to it again. I was like, did he like did he just what?
and Pat McAfee standing there throwing up names to him. Fight him off. Talk about The Rock.
Man.
That whole opening segment was so well done. And the fact that Triple H isn't afraid to put a steel cage match on a Monday night, make a title change on a Monday night, not sticking to just PLEs for these big major moments, giving the people, I mean, obviously it's Netflix, so they got to give them something.
Yeah.
While SmackDown continues to bore you for 3 hours, unfortunately, at this moment. I thought the opening was great. I really did.
I loved it. I will go on record. I'm not the biggest CM Punk fan. Like CM Punk, just like Seth Rollins, how he feels about Punk, that's kind of like you burnt me. Like I
Yeah.
was a Punk fan, you left, and you tried to drag the whole business down. And I still like I held that, and he talks so bad, and I get it. Like he had a bad experience. I won't take that away from him. Like they treated him. You get mistreated at your job, you have every right to be angry. But I had to endure CM Punk chants for like 10 years of everybody just like hijacking shows with CM Punk chants. It's like he's not coming back. Then
Nope.
he comes back and he goes to AEW. And what does he do? He jumps into a crowd and breaks his ankle or something like that. Like the third week he's there. It's like, man, I get it. Like you're the second city saint or saint, whatever they call him.
Anything.
Yeah, like you're that guy. But at the
Um,
same time, you're getting older. Your matches aren't as crisp. You're not the best in the world. Like
no.
you're simply not. Great storyteller in the ring,
Yep.
but I mean,
Hey, knock on wood. He's wrestled like 3 or 4 matches now and hasn't gotten hurt, so let's keep going.
I hope so. And that's why I kind of feel bad because it's like every year could be his last time the main event. Like you
Yep.
never know what's gonna like. So at this point,
I
it's kind
wanna
of like
see
you got
him.
to give it to
I
him.
wanna see him in the main event. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a shame that Cena's and his thing kinda are colliding.
But that's like I said this jokingly was like The Rock came back just to not make sure CM Punk didn't main event a
It
WrestleMania.
it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
Um, there were a couple of matches. We had, for some reason, Otis versus Gunther. I think they
So
really just dropped the ball on Gunther. Like, Gunther was as an Intercontinental champ, Gunther was way up here. And as soon as he got this heavyweight belt, it's not it's not living up to what it should be for someone as talented as Gunther.
he had banger matches as an Intercontinental champion. Like
Yep.
as the world champion, he comes out there in the suit. He run great troll. He comes out there and
Oh, yeah.
trolls everybody. Fantastic troll. But at the same, he's not fighting. You're not wrestling. You're not showing because he got over because he's just a great wrestler. Like he's an old school. You're gonna hear his chops. You're gonna hear his slaps. But he's not having those matches, and that's the reason why people love Gunther. People love Gunther, even though you love to hate him. But he's a great. He's gonna give you banger matches.
Yep.
He doesn't have. He hasn't had that. I don't think he's gonna have that at WrestleMania with Jay, but I need Jay to win. Like Jay, I don't care if he super kicks him 5 times and wins the match. I need Jay to win. He needs to have that moment. The crowd yeets,
Yep.
and then like he loses the title again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
Lose it the next yeah, don't lose it the next night, but
yeah, no,
there's no is there a Money in the Bank no, there's no PLEs before WrestleMania now, right? It's straight to
no, this is it.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, this is it. This is it.
Okay. So there's gonna be no cash in.
Oh,
There's
there's
no
no.
briefcases on the board anymore. Both
Yeah,
both
exactly.
men
Yeah,
and
no.
women are gone. I'm over that
Mhm.
too. So the Gunther match was the Gunther match, and A-Town Down Under came out, and Jey Uso came out, and it got really busy. Um,
Yeah,
it wasn't awful. It wasn't great. It was yeah, it was an okay match. Otis and Gunther slapping each other back and forth was pretty cool. I I,
I don't
I love the
ever need to. I don't ever need to see Gunther try to powerbomb Otis again. Like, let's just don't do that. Like, let's just not. Like it.
um
No.
another belt that I don't feel like they're doing enough with is the women's Intercontinental belt. I really Dakota should have won that in my eyes, not Valkyria.
So we talked about that this over choreographed match where everybody's just
Yeah,
hitting off their moves.
yeah,
And I love Avi now. I like Lyra. I thought she was better in NXT, but then again, she didn't do much in NXT either. She just was over in NXT. Like when she came out, everybody did the woo. Like
yep,
now I feel like they're piping it in because nobody moves when she comes out there. Like
yeah,
she barely moves when she comes out there. She's really bland. She has a good move set, but her matches, she always seems like she's out of it at the end of her matches. And it's like the match has to end because she's not gonna make it another minute. Cause she has to go now. Like we gotta bring it home now, or I'm just gonna die in the ring. And it's just boring.
it
Like
it
Chelsea.
that whole match just literally, like we were saying, it felt like they were just going spot to spot to spot to spot to spot to end. It just didn't feel, and most of the women matches aren't like that. It just felt like it was too choreographed, like you said.
Yeah.
And in between all of this, all of the backstage Rollins and Punk. I mean, those boys were fighting everywhere backstage that they could until Adam Pearce gave them the Hell in a Cell match. Not Hell in a Cell, the steel cage.
Shit, they need a Hell in the that would boy that they that would be good.
I the men's tag team match. I mean,
exactly. That was it. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, Triple H loves the War Raiders, and I don't know.
The Creed brothers they're a great tag team. Like the Creed brothers do. Brutus pulled out a 450. Julius pulled out a shooting star press. Like those guys are freak athletes.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I said this, I feel like the match would have been so much better if it was on NXT. I don't know if it'd have been just choreographed better. It might have been a better crowd. Like, I don't know what it is, but like these tag teams come to the main roster and they just don't, it's just not there. Like, and the War Raiders and the Creed should be the best tag team match on Raw. That should, like, it shouldn't be overshadowed by the women's tag team match last week. Like this match felt nothing like it didn't feel like a tag team title match should feel.
No.
And the War Raiders keep winning. I just need my boys the New Day to get rid of these LWO guys. Like, come on, man. Like I said, the guy with the hat, the other guy, you got Ray and you got Dragon Lee, who should be if you want to talk about people who can wrestle, Dragon Lee can wrestle.
Yep.
They're just not letting him wrestle.
No, he did when he first showed up. When he first showed up, he was putting on great matches. How would him and Ray Phoenix do?
Oh, that would cook. They've had great matches in AEW. We'll see. Like, and I hate saying this, but you can't have too many masked guys. Like we tried that with the Lucha Underground, Lucha Underground. What was the name? Lucha Express, Lucha Party. What were the Lucha guys? Lucha, Lucha Party. So I don't remember exactly. See that you can't have too many masked guys. There's nobody's gonna replace Rey Mysterio. Like he's never gonna be replaced. But if you have too many masked guys, there's a language thing too, because a lot of them don't speak good English, so they can't get themselves over with the mic. So
Triple H is letting them talk. Like he's letting Shinsuke talk in his native language. He's letting Io Sky talk in her native language, and it's working.
It does work.
It's working great because it feels more natural.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So now Finn Balor has gone from the first Universal Champion to fighting Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Champion. He's dropping pegs. I mean,
the good thing about this is those two are going to put on a great match.
Yeah.
Like that match is like Braun is a beast already. He could throw around Otis if he wanted to, but he's going to throw around Finn, and Finn's a great seller. So he's
and you know Dominic's going to take a hell of a spear.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Like
look, I love to hate Dominic Mysterio. His character is he's hitting every button that he needs to hit because you hate him. The crowd is all over him, and it's exactly what he needs to be. And I think he's just going to keep going and skyrocketing up. He's going to be one of the top heels in the company soon, if he's not already close to it.
So Finn's going to lose to Braun Breaker, and Dom's going to beat Braun Breaker.
I would.
Dominic's going to be the Intercontinental Champion, and boy, is
it finally going to put an end to the Judgment Day? Are they finally going to put a nail in the Judgment Day and just like let's go?
No, they're going to kick Finn out, and then they're going to bring in The word on the street, they're probably gonna bring in Alistair Black to be in the Judgment Day, which I don't know if that's gonna work,
Well,
but
they teased it, right? They teased it last week with Dom saying they needed another member, but then you also have Chad Gable walking around looking for Chad Gable just happens to be walking down some weird street, like asking people, "Do you know this guy? You know this guy?" with a little piece of paper.
holy so man, I'm so glad. That
I
was
almost
so
forgot about
dumb.
that.
That was yes, I did forget about that. But that's so funny because Chad Gable in a suit walking through the Mexican streets looking for a mysterious luchador.
And he got out of the streets with that suit.
Yes.
I'm just saying, man. It
Man.
was filmed really well. The only question I asked was, the guy that he was talking to in the shadows, was that CGI Miyagi from Cobra Kai season 6?
I don't know. I'm glad they didn't show his face because whatever they show, whoever that was not Hispanic and they weren't Oriental. They were somebody in a terrible wig and terrible beard, like and
They grabbed a white dude from production and was like, "Yo, come here for a minute. We need a
we need to
stand-in.
stand
Everybody's
in.
busy. Put this wig
Yes.
on. Don't talk."
Don't. We'll do this all in post.
Yeah.
We'll fix all of this in post.
Yeah. Who's gonna talk in
Great.
post? We'll get one of the LWO to talk in post, but you just stand there and look
Oh
good
man,
in the
that's
shadow.
hilarious. That was that was such a dumb fun moment, man. Chad
It
Gable's great.
was. And then we have the main event, and the main event of the night went a way that nobody expected at all.
So what I will say is, I think I did expect that though. And the only reason I thought of it was at the beginning of the match when Bianca came out there.
Mhm.
You think about the Elimination Chamber. You got Rhea, you got Bianca, and then Io walks in it, and I immediately thought, all right, they're doing a triple threat at WrestleMania. They,
They
like
still
you,
might.
no, they are.
Okay.
This is for sure. But the only way you get there is by Io winning. If Io loses, it's like, what do I have to gain?
Right.
Like she's a baby face now, so she's not coming in to jumping Rhea. She's not coming in to jump Bianca. So now you got Bianca Io, and Rhea's gonna find a way back into this match. She's gonna figure out a way to get into this match. And she has to because you can't leave Rhea Ripley off WrestleMania.
No,
You cannot leave her off the card.
that interview with her after the match was great.
Fantastic. I thought she was
Also
my friend. Sounded
also
real nice. Like you
No, go ahead.
I said she sounded real simple saying that,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there's beauty and simplicity, right? Like, because it's true. I thought, like, why would you cheer her on? That you're supposed to be my girl, like you're supposed to be my homie, like. So I get it.
And yeah, she hasn't beaten her yet. She's 0-3. Now,
She has not.
the EO being a babyface, Damage Control beat up Bailey, kicked Bailey out the group, and then turned babyface the next night, like basically. That was bad. That was bad. I just want to go on record and say that was fast and bad, and nobody knew what the hell was happening.
Well, I would say I think the only reason that they're now because the crowd just loves Io. Like Io gets like she gets over no matter what.
I love her entrance. I really love her entrance.
Best music. Like she has that thing where she just comes out there and she just looks like $1 million.
She looks like she looks like the way I used to come out at a bar in Sea Isle at 3:00 in the morning when she walks to the ring. That's how she looks. I've seen that walk so many times, it's not even funny. That's how she walks. And some of my people understand that in the chat. They know the 3 a.m. Sea Isle walk out of the bar. I love that match was great.
It was.
But the biggest problem I have with it is when Rhea put her hands on Bianca, there was no disqualification.
It should have been a disqualification.
Because the week before, the last time they fought and she hit Io, she was automatic. It was, or you know.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So, and then I thought if they disqualify him, okay, that's how Io gets. Go ahead.
No, I just was telling Mike it's
okay.
It's a drunk comment.
yeah, like so I thought if she got disqualified, that's how Io gets in a triple threat. So then when she didn't get disqualified, I was like, oh, Io's gonna win this because you have to get to the you have to get to the triple threat. Not saying Rhea and Bianca is a big match. That's a match that really should have happened already. And it's at some point, maybe at SummerSlam, maybe at a different PLE, it's gonna be a one-on-one, but like you got to get Io in there. Io is top five, is one of the top five women on the planet. Say
100%.
what you want. Say what you want. She's fantastic. I don't know who keeps ringing my doorbell. But yeah, Io's fantastic. Rhea's fantastic. She gave a lot last night. And we all know Rhea Ripley was supposed to be the invincible one. She doesn't very rarely does she give up anything in a match because Triple H books her like she's, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
But I mean, they had a good match. I'm glad with the outcome because I like Io, and I'm ready to see how they get to WrestleMania because we got a few weeks, man. It's gonna be a bumpy, twisty road to WrestleMania, as they say.
it really is.
It is.
I'm excited because a lot of people back in February were complaining that oh my God, what's going to happen at WrestleMania? We haven't even gotten on the road yet. Now it's starting to take picture. It's starting to get clearer. I'm
Yeah,
excited. I'm excited for what's going to happen.
I don't see any misstep, um, other than LA Knight. Ah, LA Knight and Shinsuke, they might have a match at Mania, and that's probably the match I least care about.
That's match
Because
number 2 on night 1.
yeah, like I'm over LA Knight. LA Knight wins, he gets over, everybody cheers, everybody loves LA Knight. I'm not
Yep.
the biggest fan. Like I think they missed the opportunity with him. They should have had him beat Roman at one
Yep.
point.
100
Um,
absolutely. Well, no, I don't know. I don't think beating Roman. I like the fact that my tribal chief came close to breaking the record like that, so I'm just put my
touche.
one up. Put my one
I
up.
mean, but he was so over back then. Like he
He was.
needed the title. Like he's a person I feel like who needs the title. Now that he doesn't, if he's not in the title hunt, he just kind of flounders. And that's all that's everybody on SmackDown though. If they're not in the main event scene,
No.
they're kind of just floundering and that's just poor writing on SmackDown's part. But
It is, and
hopefully it'll get better.
I hope it gets better. I really do. I hope by the time they go to 2 hours after WrestleMania and they're going back to 2 hours, I think that's the perfect, like I said at the beginning of the show, 2.5 hours on Raw is the sweet spot. They found it.
Yeah.
SmackDown needs to find it now. There's too much going on, especially when you don't have all the bloodline stuff carrying like you did in the past. You had
Yes.
2 or 3 bloodline segments and it could carry a 3-hour show. And you don't have that right now.
I thought of that. It's like, man, they miss Roman, man. Like Roman just even the stuff with Solo, like just the bloodline, that whole story arc. You got Jimmy Solo, you got all these different things. They did like that's like 30 minutes of your show right there. Is just dealing with bloodline shenanigans in some form.
Just
So
get me to Jacob Fatu with a belt soon, please.
which one though?
I
Like
don't
who
know.
he like
I miss the
can
old days where they built you up. You won the US belt, then you win the Intercontinental belt, then you go on and you do the main event, you get the big belt. Like the progression, it was always great to watch. And now it's just, you know,
they don't do that anymore.
no,
Cause like the US title, the Intercontinental title, it really doesn't like
it
it
doesn't
just
hold the
doesn't
same
feel
weight.
important. Yeah, it doesn't feel important anymore.
No.
It really doesn't.
The good news is that John Cena turned heel before the Cowboys made an NFC Championship game, so that's all good too.
Man, it's a good thing I'm not a Cowboys fan because I'll probably hate myself more than I do as a Knicks fan. The Cowboys are just yeah.
Could be worse. You could be a Giants fan. Um,
I mean, they've won two since the
they have,
Cowboys made it to an NFC Championship game.
they
So
have. Uh,
Jacob versus Gunther, that would be Jacob versus Gunther. That would be a good match.
I just
Um,
Jacob is such a star in the making right now. He's I really Jacob versus Roman one day is going to be great.
Yes.
That has to happen next year.
Well, I think it's time to take the title off of Cody.
Oh,
After Mania.
I thought it was time. He's got to lose well.
Yeah, Cena. You know, he has to lose. He has to lose. No, he has to lose. To
I
Cena.
want him
Cena
to.
has to break. He has to break the record.
Listen, when we were at WrestleMania, I cheered for that moment because it was an awesome build up to that moment. I absolutely cheered it. Matt was standing next to me, hated every second of Cody winning it. After Cody won, and after you watched the replay 4,000 times, and that moment was over, I'm ready for him to be done.
I wouldn't say I'm so surprised the crowd hasn't turned on him yet. Like that's actually surprising because usually the crowd turns on the baby faces after like a month. Like if LA Knight if he would have beat Roman, they would have hated him like 2 weeks later. Like he'd get booed out of every building.
Absolutely. Cody has that thing right now that Hogan had back in the day where the fans just always cheered you. Now, as long as Cody doesn't follow the same path that Terry followed, we're all good. I don't think that's going to happen, but his title reign has not been good at all.
No.
I really hope Cena wins at Mania. And Danny said this in our chat that Cena's final match is going to be Randy Orton bringing him back to the light.
Yes, it has to be. I said that. I said that over the weekend. It has to be Randy Orton. It has to be Randy Orton.
They're gonna do a PLE in Boston for his last match. I would love to be there for it, but I can tell you now, I'm not gonna be able to afford those tickets unless Matt wants to put them on his credit card, and I'll start paying you off now. But you want to hold the game stuff off till next week?
Yeah, we can because I mean it comes out officially next week. I will have it tomorrow night. I'm ready.
I'm dropping 130 on it, and then next week I'm dropping another 100 on baseball. So I'm done with
all video games for 2025 until GTA 6. Yeah, until GTA 6 comes out.
GTA 6 and Borderlands, and I'm good.
For sure. Yeah, we could hold that off. But yeah, I really appreciate. I truly thought that it was going to be me and Frank all alone and unafraid doing this, but everyone who's in the chat, we got Matthew Kaplan, Joe McIntyre, Ang and Ray, Ace for sure. Thank you so much for jumping in. Danny was here. Say that again.
I said thank you, Ace,
for sure
starting us off.
He brought us together.
Tony, Mike, thank everybody for popping in. Make sure you like and subscribe to the stuff. Next week, I'll make sure that I use the word John a lot more than I did tonight.
Please. All right. Okay.
Subscribe to the John.
I can't take too much Philly. I can't take that much Philly. You know, I can't take that much Philly. But you know what? I appreciate everybody for showing up, and thank you so much for doing this, Frank. Man, I'm happy that we got this started, and this is going to be a fun ride, man.
It is.
This is going to be a fun ride. All right, and we don't have play out music.
Not yet. We will.
But we will.
So we're just going to say goodbye.
Until next week.
You cannot have any blue drink. You're banned from blue drink. So, yeah. So we just hit end broadcast, and then we out.
All right. You guys have a good one.